Well, whatever's out there in the woods, what do we know about it? Can you tell us about the creature in theory, from other people's views, and from your own experience? What do you know about it physically? How big a thing is it? How much does it weigh?
To be blunt, we don't know a damn thing about it. There have been people who have attempted to talk about its social structure, and I just stop them dead in their tracks.
Its intelligence level.
We can deduce certain things by what anthropologists call spoor, S-P-O-O-R. Spoor, or the absence of spoor. Spoor would be telltale signs, like a bear's claw marks on a tree tell you that the bear has been there even though you didn't see the bear. So you look for things like that to discern if Bigfoot is around. But I don't believe anyone knows, no one knows anything about this creature, as far as whether it's even a creature. Some people suggest it has intelligence, some people say it is more intelligent than us, and that's how it's been able to evade any human contact, just other than brief sightings. So it's really an open question at this point. I have my opinion on the matter, but that's, as far as your question goes, I would just say that everything's on the table as far as what it could possibly be. We do know that it may have a foot, and a pretty big one, but anyway, that's...
Well, if such a thing lives in the woods, then do you believe that there must be a breeding population? If so, how big a population is out there?
Well, to have a healthy breeding population, that's out of my realm of expertise, I would imagine at least several thousand. Otherwise, you would end up with inbreds and mutants, and maybe something that doesn't have 5 toes. So there would have to be a significant breeding population, but probably not in the hundreds of thousands. Throughout North America, possibly. I've heard this on other videos and TV shows, maybe in the tens of thousands perhaps, or maybe just a few thousand, but enough that you would have good genetics going on, so you don't have mutants. There have been people that have found footprints that had 3 toes, but I don't think they were finding Bigfoot. Well, the fellow in South Florida, Sheely, has found the 3 toes, but alligators, it was pointed out to me that alligators have 3 toes. So maybe he just found an alligator print but didn't know it, so right. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. I've misidentified prints myself. So it's easy to misidentify a print.
Sure it is. But not this one. That's
an
upright hominid.
It's a hominid.
Yeah.
And from what we know, we can say that it's humanoid, but that's all we can really say. Now, in your investigations, in your expeditions, have you had a good naked eye, clear sighting?
The short answer is no. I have, however, seen movement and moved towards it and got on my video camera a will-o'-the-wisp movement. And that's just really frustrating when you're a researcher, that you think you got that close to something and you had your camera and you just didn't get it. The only thing I can relate it to is there's a guy that I work with who's a hunter, and he said in 20 years of hunting, the only time he's ever seen a wild turkey was when he did not have the shotgun in his hands, because they'll just appear, prance, and go. And if you don't, the same thing with Bigfoot, if you don't have that camera and you don't have it poised, if you're on wide angle and it's far away, or you got it on zoom and he runs 2 feet in front of you, you don't get the image. Yeah. So that's why I'm not really a believer in, I really believe that what may photograph this is using high-tech trail cams. The trail cams that they make now or the camera traps, some people call them. The battery life on them can be up to 6 months. And if you position them in a good spot, you can let that puppy ride for 6 months before you go back to get it. And that may be the only way I can think of that you will get a clear image of a skunk ape if they're out there.
Yeah.
You know, there's a researcher in Sumatra who uses camera traps almost exclusively now. His only going out into the field to look for their version of the Bigfoot, which is called Orang Pentak, which is actually a small creature supposedly. He doesn't go around looking for it. He goes out, sets his traps, and leaves and comes back. But he's had some success. Like there have been several species that were considered extinct, such as the Sumatra jackrabbit that he photographed that scientists said went extinct in 1916. Well, in 2005, he got a photograph of one of them, so the things must still be out there.
Like the coelacanth.
Or the coelacanth that they dragged out of the ocean in 1936. Scientists said it had been extinct for several million years. Well, what was it doing in the fisherman's boat in 1936? So that's what I mean when I said only man in his arrogance thinks that he has total knowledge of everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, down to the nuts and bolts of what you do. How deep into the green swamp have you traveled?
I've hiked in in the early days when I did this. I got deep into the east track, which is the hunter's track. I didn't even know enough then to know that that's where hunters were at until I started coming across their camps. And you could hear gunfire in the distance. And even though I spent all day going out and all day getting back to the car till dark, that would probably be as far as I've ever gotten into the swamp. But it would not be the area that a researcher should go into where there's hunters, because the theory is that where there's hunters, there's no Bigfoot. They leave that area. You want to go into areas that are more of a sanctuary from hunters, where you'll find more wildlife, because even all the wildlife gets the hell out of there. The deer get out of there when you're out, the hunters are out banging.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you want to go into areas where hunting is prohibited. And that's where you need to be.
Well, tell me about, you've told me in the past there's sometimes you've been out in these swamps and had some pretty scary encounters where you know something was watching you. Can you tell us about that?
One, and I tacked it on to the end of a video recently, was when something was charging me through the brush, coming right at me, and you can clearly hear on the tape coming right at me. I thought I was going to get at any given second a King Kong type of thing where it tears the trees apart and standing there staring at me. Well, it diverted at the last second and didn't get me. I also had a similar incident happen where the charging occurred and I started running and it was pursuing me. And I don't know what it was. It could have been a pig, could have been a deer. My experience with deers is that they don't pursue you, they just run from you. Have you ever come across a deer?
Yes.
They may freeze and look at you for a second and then ping, they're gone.
Yes,
Yeah, so I don't think it was a deer. Only because I don't think it'd be, unless it didn't know you were there and it was bouncing around towards you.
A deer can accidentally run towards you.
Yeah, possible.
That's it.
But I never got a visual one, and now I put the videos up, and I would get people who would analyze them and send me stills, send me video stills where they'd circled in red things that they said were Bigfoot or skunk apes in the video. I don't think so. I was there, I didn't see it, and they were circling what is commonly referred to as a blob squatch. That's a term in Bigfooting. There's a blob in the bushes, and people say, oh, that's a Bigfoot. Some of these blob squatches look like they have heads, shoulders, and arms, but it's just light and shadow.
Right.
That's all it is.
Can easily be
something
else.
You could go, I did a video where I proved that. I zoomed in this wooded area where you could see this Bigfoot standing there. It looked just like a Bigfoot. And I said, there he is, there he is. You can see him right there. You right there. You can see him moving. This is what I'm saying. And then I turned around to show everybody that I was at the Kmart parking lot, aiming the camera at a little wooded area that was there. But the people who were seeing it were convinced they were seeing a Bigfoot until I actually showed them we're at Kmart.
Yeah.
There's no Bigfoot here. You see Bigfoot at Walmart, not at Kmart.
Visit Tim Fasano's website, bigfootafterdark.com.